My height. My bank account.
I asked some of my friends this question. They said they would change their eye color. Some of them said their athletic abilities. Some of them said they wanted to be taller. But unfortunately, this decision isn't ours to make. But there has been a lot of gene research, and it's been progressing. And a lot of people can choose their babies as you would choose a handbag or a sports car. So today I'm gonna talk about what we've been seeing a lot in America, especially with celebrities, have been accused of having designer babies. So a lot of the time, there's like a desire look in society to have blue eyes and blonde hair or have a certain type of body. So I'm going to explain how genetic modifications are used and how they can improve life quality, how they can cause social gaps, and how they can end natural selection. So first I'm going to explain what genetic modification is. One of the most common genetic modifications is pre-implantation. This is pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, and you can call it PGD. This is usually used for like women who are infertile, that they want to like have fertile children or be able to have children, or to choose a baby's gender. So this is the process. So this is the woman's uterus. Okay. So the woman's uterus, and then the embryo is taken out, and it goes to this process where it goes through like a. No, it's inserted with like anything to change the hormones, and it's inserted into it as a different type of like sperm that makes them fertile, or you can change the sex, and then this is the end one, and then it's inserted back into the uterus. So with PGD, the egg goes through in vitro, and in vitro actually means in glass. So the egg is taken out from the woman, and it's put in glass, and it goes through a procedure before the implantation. This is the procedure, and then it tells you like which ones are good, which ones are bad, and then they take out the bad ones, and they keep the good ones. And then this happens before the implantation process, and the implantation process is usually 9 days after the female egg is fertilized. So another process another genetic modification process is germline gene therapy, and this is when DNA is used. It can be used from like not only the parents, but it can be used from a third person. So a different person's like DNA goes into the egg, and it's fertilized. And this can either like replace certain genes, like replace mutated genes, if the child is going to have if the child is seen to have disabilities or anything like that. So this option actually creates a lot of different options. You can choose the eye color, hair texture, height. In 2012, an article by Carolyn Abraham in the Globe and Mail, she stated that recent breakthroughs have made it possible to scan every chromosome in a single embryonic cell to test for genes involved in hundreds of conditions. So these are just like a few of the conditions. So now that we know what genetic modification is, how it works, I'm going to explain how it can improve life quality. So some parents have used the pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, PGD, because they want their child to look a certain way. But a lot of other families have used it because it can improve life quality for their children. So there's actually a few cases. For example, in Street Journal, they reported a case of a deaf couple, and they used PGD to make a deaf baby. So this is actually like considered a negative enhancement because it's not something that people would usually do, but it would help them be able to like be better parents for their child. Another case is that from New York Times, Amanda Kalinsky, she used PGD to stop the continuance of her babies having the disease of dementia because she had that in her genes. And according to LiveScience.com, 75% of cases are actually to counter mental illnesses, but the other 25% are because people want a designer baby, they want to change how they look. So although genetic modification can improve life quality, it can lead to social gaps. With the in vitro process alone, it's already $20,000 just for the in vitro process. So people who are poor can't afford in vitro. So if their babies have need a genetic modification or something, that just leaves them to like figure that out. And this usually helps the people who have money in the higher class and middle class who can afford it. Also in schools and sports teams, the children who are genetically modified, they have it's still controversial. Like, we're not sure if they're actually considered like if they should be disqualified from certain things or not, because it does give them like they can be faster, they can be taller, so that they'll qualify for the sport more. So along with the social gaps that can be created, we also see that natural selection can stop. The accommodations for the idea of genetic modification. It contrasts Charles Darwin's theory of survival of the fittest, because the accommodations that are made for those who naturally had a disease or live life differently, it gives them the same opportunities as everybody else. But in 2001, the FDA was concerned about the genetic abnormalities found in the children who were injected with the genetic PGD, the pre-imputation genetic diagnosis. Some of the things that they saw in it was the Turner syndrome, and they also saw pervasive developmental disorder in these children. So the FDA was also concerned that it would result in permanent changes to the entire human genome. So in the future, we could be faced with genetic ties and consequences because of the modified gene mixing. So despite the morality aspect of designer babies, the genetic modifications can improve life quality, but they also cause social gaps and they regress natural selection.
What's the success rate of modifying genes? So if you want your baby to be taller, if they took that out, is it guaranteed that they would be taller?
Yeah, well, I was researching, a lot of the studies came from the UK, because that's where the whole idea first originated from. And so they actually said that 99% of the children who were injected with it, what gene they choose to change comes out how they want it to.
So it's successful.
Yeah. But the biggest problem with it is that the morality question, people don't think it's right. Ethics and stuff. I want to see
So when they take out the egg from the female body, do they, when it grows on to be a baby, is it like a natural birth, or is it in a hole? So they put the egg back.
Yeah, they put the egg back exactly how it was and everything.
Oh, so it doesn't have any consequences misplacement. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
So I'm a little confused on the designer babies. Mm-hmm. So you know how you said people choose to change traits of their child, physical traits, their texture, color, eye color, and all that. So scientists have been able to narrow down which exact gene it is.
Yeah. So they just when it goes through the process, so if the family chooses what they want, if they want to change the eye color, then the scientists know, or the person who's going to do it, they know exactly which gene to change, and they just change it.
So they've been able to track it down.
Yeah.
There's millions and
millions.
millions.
The study that I said was that they've made it possible to scan every chromosome in a single embryonic cell to test for genes or multiple conditions, and all of those conditions are traits and characteristics and stuff.
They're genetically passed down. I had another question. question. Oh, have you seen that documentary? I think her name was Lisa Lane. It's something about genius babies. It's about genetically modified children.
Mm-hmm.
There was some kind of thing. It was here in the States back in, I want to say the 70s or the 80s, where it gave parents the option to pretty much choose, like, for sperm, it was for sperm banks. They got to choose exactly,
They were running out of time, so we're just good.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, you can, there is a gene that you can change the intelligence of your child.
yeah, so
I don't know exactly what gene that is, but that is an option that people have done, I think.
you should watch the documentary though.
Okay.
It's really interesting.
Do it. I demand you.
Let's do it. Where, sorry.
Got in. I thought you had a good topic. Your introduction was good. By the way, you got everyone's attention. Everyone participated. Everyone was interested. You have good information. You used all like the PowerPoint. Used it well to describe everything you wanted to do and everything you show. You cited sources pretty well, and you had good eye contact throughout the entire speech. And you had a good volume of voice. Everyone could hear you clearly. But maybe the suggestions maybe move around a little more. You kind of stood on the soapbox and kind of crossed, and it's kind of like it's not coming from like an authority figure. Like you want to be like the authority of the subject. So it comes off a little not as strong as you'd like it to. And then during the beginning of the speech, you did good with like your language, but then towards the middle, you started using the word like a lot, like a few sentences, just like kind of like that. And but then you kind of you fixed it towards the end, and it was better. But overall, I thought it was a good speech and it was really informative. And yeah, good go.
Okay, but a couple of quick things. You really have great ideas and information, but look at your posture.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to stop doing that because this is the you did that last week. Yeah, no more of that. So no more crossing legs or anything. So stand nice and straight. Don't get all pretzeled up. Get away from the podium because you're gonna lean on it. There you go. All right, we'll genetically modify you a little bit. And for the people who didn't show up, who were in the groups, I don't even know if Maria's around, but anyway, Avelia and Jason, I think.
Yeah, but he told me he wasn't coming.
Okay, good. Let him know.